Okay, so I'm helping you with using the difference of squares or cubes to, sorry about that, get that started. Using the difference of squares or cubes to solve polynomials. So, wrong one. I'm doing well this morning. Here we go. So the sum of cubes and the difference of cubes. So the sum of cubes, a plus 3 times, or a cubed plus b cubed equals a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared, or the difference being a cubed minus b cubed equals a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. The big idea seeing here is that you're always going to get a factor here that's going to be a real number. This is always going to be, put it in red, this is always going to be a real number factor, and this is always going to be an imaginary factor. And if it wasn't, it would factor down further. But if we remember in the quadratic equation, we have inside b squared minus 4ac. Well, when we look at this number is here, and that's going to be positive. And because this is a plus here, and this number is plus, this is always going to be a subtraction. And due to the nature of this problem, this subtraction is always going to be bigger. So you're always going to have a negative number inside of the square root, and that's going to mean your answer is always imaginary. And the same thing happens here because you have a positive here and a positive here, and a times b is always going to be, or sorry, b squared is always going to be smaller than 4ac, so you're always going to have imaginary solutions. Let's look at one of the questions here we have. So we had v cubed minus 64. All right, so that is the difference. So we have to think what's a and what's b. So in this case, a equals v, and b, well, 64, what cubed makes 64? 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64. So this is 4. So we have v minus 4 times a squared, so that's going to be v squared. A times b is going to be 4v, and b squared is going to be plus 16. And so we can see that v equals 4 is our real solution. And now we have to deal with this part, which is the unreal solution. So we have to use the quadratic formula. So v is going to equal negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. So negative b is going to be negative 4, and that's going to be plus or minus 16 minus 4 times 16 times 1, because a is just 1, divided by 2 times 1. So negative 4 plus or minus 16, so that again is 64, so minus 64 divided by 2. I'm running out of space. I'm going to come back up here. Negative 4 plus or minus, well, 64 minus 16. It's very early. Excuse me for not doing mental math. 48, negative 48 divided by 2. So negative 4 plus or minus, all right, so 48 is, I've got to not have decimals here because, all right, 48 is 4 times 12, and 12 is 4 times 3, so this is going to be 4i, should have left, because that's the negative part, and then in the square root is 3 divided by 2, so negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2, plus 2i square root 3, and negative 2 minus 2i square root 3, because this divides into here, and it divides into that 4. So really, you just have to be super careful. So, all of our solutions. 4, and then I have negative 2 plus 2i times square root 3, and negative 2 minus 2i times the square root 3. So you can see that you have to go careful through these. Maybe solve 1 or 2 on IXL so you make sure that you can do them correctly.